to a new video. So we will be continuing from question number 9, that is write a program that will find Pythagorean triplets between 1 to 100. And this is Pythagorean triplet, they like this 3 4 5. So this is the combination of the triplets, Pythagorean triplets. That means enter any two numbers, third number should be displayed. So that should be the result of your program. So first let's understand what is a Pythagorean triplet. So according to Pythagoras theorem, theorem, if you have a triangle, right angle triangle, we can consider it is a right angle triangle where 90 degrees is available here, and this makes up the base and this makes up the altitude, and this and this is the hypotenuse side. So in such a case, A, B, C. So in such a case, the square of sum of two sides should be equal to the square of the hypotenuse. That means if you consider base square plus altitude square is equal to the hypotenuse square. This is the formula that has to be followed for a Pythagoras theorem. This is always true for a right angle triangle like this. So in such case, what is our intention? We are going to input two numbers, and the third number, that means if we input 3 and 4, 5 should be displayed, because these 3 makes up the triplet. Like that you have other combinations also. So let's see whether it's working or not, how to write the program. This is the program, and in this case you can see here our intention is to input two numbers and third number should display all by itself. So we have to use a formula. So in this program you can see here math.h is used. What is the use of this one? You are going to use sqrt function in this program. So since square root, you are using sqrt for the square root. Since you are going to use that, we have already given this math.h. Otherwise this will not work. If you just exclude this program will not work. You can just comment and see whether it is working or not without math.h. So that is one thing. Another one is, for this program you need two numbers to be read. So I'm going to store those two numbers in A and B. Enter two numbers, has to be read, A and B. It is read and stored in the memory with the variable A and B respectively. Now next one is for loop. We are starting here. So iteration starts at 0 and it goes till 100. Since in the question it is mentioned that you have to find from 1 to 100. So that also you can include here. You can also include till 1 to, I can change here 1 to 100, I plus plus. Each time it has to check whether that triplet is being formed or not. So what is our intention? Our intention is to find hypotenuse square is equal to base square plus altitude square. So this hypotenuse is equal to square root of base square plus hypotenuse square. So this we are going to use, for this square root we are going to use the mathematical function sqrt, which you will be learning in the next chapter, functions. Sqrt is a function and you have to include these two sides inside that, and square of them and then inside the bracket square of them gets added up. So you cannot use b square here. Either you have to use another one function, that is power, or you can use base into base plus height into height and square root of the whole thing. That will be given used for this hypotenuse. So we need another one variable for this hypotenuse. Let's see how it is done. So here square root of the first side's square and the second side square, and it is stored in the third variable c. So c represents the hypotenuse. So we are going to repeat from the starting from 1 till 100, and we are going to repeat the steps. And once we find out all the things, we have to display the message that the triplets are. So first, if first two numbers are entered, third number, what is the output, that also will be given through this C. Only that you have to do. So this is the basic program. Some changes can be made here and there once another programmer writes the program. Let's see whether it is working or not. Let's run it. Enter two values. So the triplets are basically the combination of those numbers. Not every number whichever you enter will give a combination. So let's check with the first combination which is given in the question, that is 3 and 4. So we are going to enter 3, 4. Automatically it should display third triplet, that is 5. So because we have written the program this way, the Pythagorean triplets are 3, comma, the second number 4, and from it comes from here, and C is for the third value, that is 5. So that combination is displayed to you. Let's check next output. 6, 8 and 10 is the next Pythagorean triplet. Okay, so this way you're going to display the third triplet, and you can also include a message that says this is not a Pythagorean triplet. If any two combinations you give, that message also can be included, that I have not included. If you wish, you can include that also. So this program works this way. Let's check next program. Next program is write a program to find out the sum of the series 1, x, x square, and sum of all these series, 1 plus x square, and it should come x raised to 3 or x cube. It goes till x raised to n. So here if you minutely watch this series, it will be like x raised to 0 plus x raised to 1 plus x raised to 2, x raised to 3, and it goes on till x raised to n. So this number should be given as an input from the user, and based on this input the appropriate result has to be shown. So if you give 3, till this much only the value should be displayed. If you give 4, the value has to change accordingly. So that, let's see how this program works. So this is the program. So in this case, your intention is to that you have to calculate, and then this iteration, this work has to go on continuously with one number getting incremented each time with the power. You can see 0, 1, 2, 3. It's incrementing. So it has to come inside a loop, and then the value of x also can be inputted from the user. User can give any value for x. Based on that, the output should be shown. And each time you can use a variable to store the sum. Like if it is for the first term it is x raised to 0, that will be always 1. The next time it will be this value of x raised to 1, and the sum will be getting added up each time. So you can use a variable for storing that also. Let's see how it works here. So here s is used for calculating the sum of the values. As I told you, the value has to come from the user x. the value of x and n should come from the user. It has to be read through the keyboard using cin, and cout is for your better understanding of the program. Next, let's see this for loop. I told you this repetition has to be put inside a loop. The summation or the power, whatever is calculated, has to be put inside a loop because that is being repeated. Now, here one function is there, POW. It is used for calculating the power. In the previous program also, you would have used after square root power of any number, comma, any number. That you will learn in the next chapter, but then I'm just telling you how to use this. Power, any value, comma, any value you can put, and it means x raised to I. X is the value and I is the exponent of x. So that has to come, that is the use of this POV, power. So every time what happens here is this x raised to 0. The first time if it is 0, x comma 0 means x raised to 0. First term will be x raised to 0. And then when it comes, next iteration happens, it becomes 1. When the value of I becomes 1, that time it will be x raised to 1. So that repetition is being done here. And each time when the sum is calculated, it is stored in the S variable. So S variable plus or whatever power you're calculating each time will be saved in or stored in t variable, and that t you have to take and the original sum. For the first time it will be 0, sum will be 0, has to be added and then again stored in the value sum. So each time the sum changes. First term, when it combines with the second term, the sum changes. When you add the third term, the sum changes. So that change you are noting down here through this statement. And this repetition happens till whatever number you have given, and the message will be displayed. The sum is, and the sum is stored in value s. Let's check the output like this. So here, let's run this program. Enter the value of x and n. So I'm entering maybe 2, and I want the value of power also till 2. So let's run this, enter. Sum is 7. Some value of sum is 7. That means first term will be 2 and 2 we have taken. So first term will be 2 raised to 0. Second term will be 2 raised to 1. And third term will be 2 raised to 2. So this value will be 1 and this will be 2 and this will be 4. You can see here 2 raised to 0 is always 1. So any number raised to 0 gives you 1. So here you can see 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. So output should be 7. The same output you are getting in your output here, 7. With some other number, like if you want to give 4 raised to 5, the output is coming as 1, 3, 6. So if you need a space between them, you have to give here little bit space and then run it again. 3, next this time I'm taking 3 raised to 4. Sum is 121. You can see a space here. So like this you can make changes to your program. This is the program for your next program is to write a program that will take a number n as input and print the factorial of the numbers from 1 to n as follows. So this is the factorial. Any number if you enter, find out its factorial. So before doing the program, we have to understand what a factorial is. So if it is 3 factorial, this represents 3 factorial. So what is the meaning of 3 factorial is 3 into 2 into 1. If it is 4 factorial, it means 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So if any numbers factorial you want to find out, you have to find the product of that number and its previous numbers, reducing one by one till it goes to 1 and multiply. Like you have to find the product of them. So this is what happens for a factorial. So you have to find out the factorial of the number from 1 to n. So again, To do this repeated steps to reduce the number and multiply it again and again comes under a loop. The step is being repeated. Let's see how the program works. Factorial is 1. 2 factorial is 2 into 1. 3 factorial is 3 into 2 into 1. So this is the pattern followed. So the number you have to multiply previous of that number, reduce the number. If f is the number, f into f minus 1, then f minus 2. This step repeats again and again. So we have to use this logic, and let's check how the program is working. So first thing is enter the number to find the factorial of what number you want to find the factorial. So that number we have to read from the keyboard using this n variable, which is declared above here as integer. Then we have to check if the number is less than 0, the factorial doesn't exist. That message will be displayed. If the number is greater than 0, then this else portion is working. Then the repeated steps are done here. That means starting from 1, you have to go till the iteration of that number, till what you want to find, whatever number you have entered, that has to be done. And each time the iteration has to be increased by 1, that is I plus plus. So f is equal to f into I. That means the starting value of f is given here as 1. The first value is 1 into the first time when it's worked, it will be 1. F, that means 1 into 1. That step is done and it will be stored into f. When the iteration becomes 2 next time, what will happen? 2 start. So it works like this. Iteration become 2. 2 into the value of f is 1. 2 into 1 is 2 this time. So value of f changes to 2. Next iteration, 2 into 3. It becomes 6. Then f becomes 6. So like this steps goes on till the value of that number is reached. That means if you want to find for 5, till 5 it is reached, this step will be continued. And after finishing all the steps, you have to display that number, what will be stored in this f variable. So f is displayed in front of you and that helps to go to the next line. Let's check whether the program is working properly or not. Enter a number to find factorial. Factorial of 6 is 720. Let's give a smaller number. Factorial of 4. What message should be coming? 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. What will be the output? 24. This is correct. Now let's check with the 0 output. 0 as the value. Factorial is 1. So that is not mentioned here. So you can just give here equal to, if it is less than or equal to 0. Run it again. This time we are this is the way we find out the factorial. And in this question, they are asking you have to take a number as input and print the factorial of all the numbers from 1 to n. So again, printing this factorial of a number is possible. So put it inside another one loop there. It starts, the counting starts from 1 and it goes till that number, whatever is there. And in this format, the display should be, the output should be displayed. 1 for 1, the factorial should be 1. For 2, it should be 2. For 3, it should be 6. That is a factorial. For each number, you have to find the factorial. Try out this program. This is a bit different from that factorial, but the similar logic is to be used inside that. if this number is called even because it gets divided by 2, and when it's get divided by 2, the remainder that you will be getting is 0, because this is 0. Because of this remainder, we call it as even number. Same way, if it is not 0, you call it as odd number. So first step is to check if it is even or odd. If it becomes an odd number, for that you have to find whether it is prime number or not. Prime number means the number should have prime number. Any number will have its factor as only 1 and that same number. For example, if you have 3 with you, 3 has only 1 into 3 as its factors. If you have 5, you have only 1 and 5. So same way you will have the numbers 3, 5, 7, 11. This way it goes on. It doesn't follow a pattern, though its definition is if its factors are only that number, the same number and 1, then it is a prime number. So like that you can check. For example, 19. It doesn't get multiplied, or sorry, it doesn't get divided by any other number than 1 and 19. So this is a prime number. So like that, it doesn't follow a pattern, though you have to find whether any odd number is prime or not. So let's check whether how this program works. So it's a little bit complicated. Let's check the program. So here in this case, already it is mentioned 0 and 1, they are not prime number. So that chances we are just keeping it aside. Next one is even and odd. First we have to check whether the number given is even or odd. So for checking if it is even, it has to follow this step. The number when find out or divided by 2, the answer should be 0. Then it will be an even number. So if this case is true, what will happen? Displayed output will be even. So you don't have to do anything. If it is odd, then you have to check whether it is prime. So it goes to the else portion. If it is an odd number, it executes the else portion, and what the steps is all the steps inside us happening for the prime number. Checking of prime number. Here, while we will be checking with that iteration whether till the number goes on, what we have to do? If the number gets divided by the iteration, that means if you are starting with 3, 4, 5, until that step you have to follow for each number. If with any number it is getting divided, your number, and getting divided and gives you a result of 0, 0 as the remainder, then you have to set a flag. You are just putting a variable with some value. That means if it gets divided, it is not a prime number. It has its factor. Prime number will not have factors other than the number and 1. If that case happens, come out of the loop. You don't have to check further anything. And then each time, why this iteration is I plus 2? Because you have to check for odd numbers. So it has to jump 2 numbers. Like if it is 3, then you have to jump and see for 5. Then you have to go for 7. Then you have to go and see for next number. Like that it goes on. That's why this plus 2 is used. And this is the work done, and then still the output will not be displayed since the flag is only set. You have not mentioned anything how this works. So if you have a factor, the flag becomes 1. Flag becomes 1, it is not a prime number. That this output is displayed here. Otherwise the output is prime number. That message is given here. So with this we can check the output. Run. If I'm giving a big output like enter a number 68, so it's an even number, so we don't have to do anything further. The program is not doing anything. Let's check for any number. 19, it's a odd number, so these steps has to be taken care for this odd number. 19 is a prime number, yes. So that output is shown. Next one is an odd number with some which is not prime. 15 is an odd number, but it is not prime. Let's check the output. 15, it's not prime. That message is also shown. So it's working for all the numbers. Let's go to next program. So this program is asking you to enter n integers. So we will be using the concept of array in this case, and you have to count how many positive integers are entered, how many negative integers are entered, and how many zeros are entered. For that, you have to use a concept of array where you can take up similar type of objects, similar type of entries or items. So if you use cin, we can only enter one variable according to the number of variable we can enter. But here we have to take, for the same thing, we have to take so many options. For example, if the concept of array works, first thing is array and give any name and give a size. Like I'm giving 10, so I can enter maximum of 10 items in this. So the first item will be a of 0, second item will be a of 1, a of 2, and it goes on till a of 9. So these are the number, first item, second item, third item, like that. So first I have to give the size, then I have to read the array, and I have to put it in a loop so that it goes on reading again and again. Then enter the values and put a count. Count is put to identify whether it is how many positive integers or how many negative integers are there. Let's check the program, you can understand. Here, as I told you, this is an array of integer type. So this is the format of using an array. This you have not learned now. It is available in the next chapters, but then this program requires this array. Then ni we are using, n is for entering how many number you want to enter for that n. I is for that iteration, and count is to measure whether each time when you enter the values, whether it is a positive or negative. To have that count, we are using this count variable, and we are setting it to 0 because when the program starts, the count is 0, then it increments. Like first time when you enter or start the program, the count is always 0. If you get any positive integer, each time the count becomes 1, 2, like that, according to how many your value is being entered. So next here the cout is for entering how many numbers you are going to enter, that is being read. Next message is for enter those number of list, what all numbers or integers you want to enter it. Then comes the loop, and when you use an array, you need loop for whatever thing you are using here. So why we are reading using a loop? Because you have to read the first number, that will be a of 0, then second number will be a of 1, then third number will be a of 3. So you can read multiple objects in a go, but this loop is required here. So this is a format of your array. You will learn better in the coming chapters, but this is the basic format of using cin. We cannot use like a variable cin and a variable. We need a loop for that. Then okay, first thing is we have read the values through the keyboard using this. Next step is to check for each. The checking has to happen one after the other. So that checking also happens this way. Here for the checking, it is checking whether a of your I, each iteration changes, like a of 0. First time it will take the value a of 0. If a of 0 is greater than 0, if it is greater than 0, what is the meaning? The number is positive. If it is less than 0, it is negative. So in this first question, it is number of positive integers. So we have to take greater than 0. Each time the count, we are putting it as count plus plus, or we can just write count plus 1. What is the reason? Each time the positive integer you get, a count is being set. Count is a variable, any variable you can take. That is for identifying each time you are getting a positive number. If it is not a positive number, this will be false and this will not be executed. So it just skips this step. In this way, you will identify how many positive integers are there. Okay, after that, the iteration goes to next, and then it becomes 1. So a of 1, what is your a of 1 value stored? That will be identified. Then if it is a positive value, count will be incremented. That way the count stores how many you have, how many positive integers you have with you. So that message will be coming later. Positive integers are and the count variable. This is how the program works, and little bit changes you have to do for the second and third program too. Let's run this program. So it's asking how many numbers you want. So I'm willing to enter 5 numbers. That is being read through this n. Enter. Now I can enter my numbers. For example, I am going to enter positive, negative and 0 numbers. So let me enter the numbers. First number is 45. Second number is 3. Next number is 0. Next number is -9. And next number is again 0. So how many positive we have? Only 2. According to the program, only 2 we should get the output. So let's check the output. Positive integers are 2. So because of that count, you are getting this 2. This is for the first program. Second one is negative integers. Only basic change you have to make here is this sign you have to change, and you have to change that it is a positive. Instead of positive integer, you have to mention it as negative integer. Let's do that program also. Same. Now I'm entering 3 numbers. List of numbers I'm entering as 0, 12, -8. So I have given only 3 numbers. So 3 entries only I can enter. 0, 12 and -8. So how many negative numbers I have? Only 1. So that is displayed here. So if you understand, if you try to understand this, 3 is stored in n variable. This is stored in a of 0. This is stored in a of 1, then the a of 2. So this is the size that we are mentioning for our array. So next program is total number of integers that is equal to 0. Little changes we have to make, that's it. The value should be checked for 0 equal to 0, and you have to display that message. That's it. Let's see the output of this program. Six entries, 1, 2, 3, 0, 0 and -9. So 2 times we have entered 0, that is displayed here too. So this is the output of this program. So by this, the terminal questions are done. 1 or 2 questions are left out. Just try out those programs too. And this factorials, this way we have not displayed that also. Please check it out. Thank you for watching.